Hello and greetings to my fellow human beings. This message is intended for everyone on this planet, but my intentions are going to be not extremely transparent because I am smart enough to realize that too much honesty in this country in this day of age can be a huge liability. And I want you to please understand that any twitching, sweating, shifting positions, the things that are going to be severely distracting my ability to concentrate and form the words that I would like to in a way that I feel would be the best way to do so. I've been experiencing out of the typical pain scale associated with emojis that we find in Western medicine. I've been living with a pain scale between 7 and 10 for the last couple of years after I crushed some vertebra and then was consequently kicked out of my living environment, and I now live in a place where I'm not supposed to. I do pay rent here. But I feel that it is absolutely necessary to do everything I possibly can for the rest of my life to try to make a significant change towards the better for everybody and everything on this planet. In fact, I'm so distracted that I can't even recall if I've told you to expect what may seem as strange behavior based on the pain levels I'm experiencing. I'm going to try to, this is all coming from the heart. I haven't written a script. I don't believe in them. I certainly don't believe in paying a team of writers to compose a speech that I will then later read off from teleprompters to the American public, all paid for by you. But I do have a dream that I am placed in a position by enough people that support not me, but the ideals and values that I have, to change everything. Let's talk a little bit about just some basic things. For this video, I'm going to keep it fairly light and understandable for as many people as I can. I have a billion things I'd like to mention, and I could go on for months straight about everything that's wrong with this country and the multiple solutions to fix every single one of those problems, thus affecting change across the globe. But this first video is going to be about trying to offend as many people as I can. And if you're one of the people that I offend, please share this with your friends and make fun of me, comment, make questions, I challenge you to encourage people that you think are in the right, that are far more intelligent, that are the ones for the job. I encourage you to do everything possible to make a debate happen. If you want to see me be walked all over, if you want to see me be disappeared by anybody, but especially the government, I encourage you to share this. For the few of you out there who have the ability to employ a lot of foresight consideration. You have the ability to be contemplative, and most importantly, you have a mind that allows you to freely think and not be a sheep. Okay, we're all sheep. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a sheep. I'm recording this on a device that utilizes a lithium-ion battery, which is absolutely horrible for so many things, for so many reasons, and I am directly contributing to the disgusting act of children being being absolutely forced into slavery as young as 4 to go mine cobalt, specifically for lithium-ion batteries. Now, I might have to refer to my phone for a couple notes just to keep me on track with a couple of things that I really want to get through to you, or read a couple of quotes off my screen. But for those of you with the ability to think for yourselves, who can actually relate to what I'm saying, and you know that at least some of what I say is absolutely true, you guys are the few and rare. And unfortunately, most of you are the perpetrators of all the heinous acts that are taking place that absolutely need to be addressed and stopped as fast as possible. In order to effect the positive changes that we absolutely need to initiate, the only way for that to happen in this particular scenario that we find ourselves in today, under the watchful eye of the US government, a specific route must be taken. And so I can't open up with explaining as much as I would like to, educating you in ways that you absolutely need to be educated in. I need to at least live long enough to amass enough support, I hope. Obviously, my ideals and values and goals, not me personally. But in order to do so, I need to have people who seriously want to listen to what I have to say. Keep in mind, I'm going to offend you, but I have good intentions behind it. Now, speaking of that, how many horrible things have taken place under the guise of having good intentions? Way too many. I am pissed off by so many things. I am very likely to cry at least one point throughout this video, but I really hope to maintain my emotions well enough to convey my ideas. Let's just go ahead and say hypothetically this is all for entertainment value. Right? What's most important to people is entertainment. After, of course, money is the number one thing that people care about. Again, there's so many freaking ways I want to take this conversation, but I'm just gonna blabber enough to be perceived as potentially crazy. Let's just start. Okay. First of all, human beings are ridiculously idiotic creatures. So much to the point that we don't question what we're told. Of course, some of us do. But the vast majority of people are complete morons. You're a bunch of sheep. but you're trained to be that way. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not your fault. You have been meticulously brainwashed ever since you could understand what language that you first learned to speak was. Let's just jump right into this brainwashing thing. So, parents are not at fault for this. So many things are done under the guise of good intentions, and quite frankly, the traditions that I'm about to mention, in so many parents' minds, are very good things. They're what make up part of a magical childhood, and therefore is a necessity that you must impose upon your children for their sake. Okay, so most children in this country believe in at least one of the following: Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, and the Easter Bunny, among other things. Now, this is a very, very important first step of brainwashing that will and could ensure the success of maintaining a control on your mind in ways that should never come to fruition, yet is being carried out in every way possible. And if you're an adult with a child, they're being directly targeted. And if you don't, again, I'm going to say most of you won't be able to really learn the truly important things that you need to learn. But young children, the next generation, they absolutely can. They have the power to change the world. They have the power to make everything better. However, you legal voters over the age of 17, you have to vote for the correct individual in the upcoming presidential election. What I would love to tell you is that the only way to take back power from the most corrupt entity that's ever existed in all of its many branches is to simply write in the way that you should write in, ideally, which would be the following format. You would write in your specific name, right, your full name, followed by the phrase along with every other common citizen of the, I'm sorry, along with every other current common citizen of the United States of America. Okay, that way, well, okay, I'm not going to get into a lot of explanations, but I will tell you the reason why you couldn't just write in "we the people" is because, first of all, the Constitution's another joke. You've been lied to your entire life. We the people mean you want to grant power to the people who formed this deceptive Constitution that so many of us are that we honor enough to the point where we just call everything, oh, it's unconstitutional. The Constitution is everything is constitutional because of the nature of the Constitution of the United States of America. Okay, one of the worst weapons, I'm going to say the most destructive weapon that is being utilized on a daily basis. Not that the daily basis of its use qualifies it as the most dangerous weapon. It's the very nature of this weapon which makes it extremely dangerous, and that's language and the way people communicate. Okay, they are absolutely captivating the moronic bunch of you by their words and the way that they put them together to make you believe that they have your best interest in mind. They don't give an F about you. They don't give an F about your children. They only care about how they can use you to make the most amount of money, and also how they can manipulate you into staying the best sheep for them. Okay, so it starts with young children believing in the absolute impossibility that Santa Claus lives in the North Pole along with his wife and all of his little good minions, creating presents for you that if you just simply ask for, whether it's in the form of a letter or going to sit on some stranger's lap in a mall, that he's going to know what you want, and if you're a good little child, he will bring them to you this Christmas. If you're naughty in any way, you're going to get a lump of coal. Okay, kids believe this, yet they're naughty in some way, shape, or form every year, and every year they're rewarded with a pile of presents from Santa Claus. This wires their brain in a way to think, to continue down a neural pathway that will allow them to be better minions, better sheep, more likely to be fully controlled with the mind control experience that you will go through. They're hoping for the rest of your life based on what they teach you. Okay. So which evil, ridiculously rich politician are you going to vote for? Which pedo? Which killer? Trump? That guy's had swamp water filled shoes his whole life. Okay. Biden, a career politician. I mean, there are so many reasons why obviously not to vote for these folks, but for the people who believe that one or the other is going to be the best way to vote, is going to be the proper candidate to make sure that certain things don't go a certain way. You're basing that decision on fear. Okay, one of the ridiculous lies that you're taught is that we have a natural response to encountering dangers. We have a flight or fight response. Okay, we're told that. We haven't necessarily experienced it yet, but even without experiencing it, kids by the point that they're told this believe it. I mean, one of the most ridiculous things that it's so hard to say what is more ridiculous than the next thing, because this world is filled with absolute so much evil that I hope I die in my effort to change this. That is the best possible way I could go. Okay, I've been suicidal for a large part of my life based on several reasons. The biggest reason is that I realized that people don't naturally have the set of values, thoughts, feelings that I was born with. Not necessarily even born with, but I allowed myself to be open to activate a portion of our DNA, our brain that has been suppressed over the years very purposefully, a thing called instinctual intelligence. Okay, what is the most important job ever? It's teaching young children and teaching them in the right way, teaching them facts and truths. And we've allowed teachers to be paid less than what a lead staff member at Taco Bell would make. Okay, we've allowed that to continue. That's the most important job, period. Because the next generation is going to be, should be the most important thing for every one of us. If we have any sense of responsibility to anything, it should be a devotion to teach your kids a better way. Again, I implore you to question me. I implore you to tell me why I'm wrong. I want you to question everything. I'm not going to ask you to believe everything I say just because I'm saying it. I'm not even going to tell you that I'm telling you the absolute truth. That would be silly and arrogant of me. Right now, the solution to so many of our problems is a part of eliminating the power that these evil, extremely wealthy individuals have. Okay, I, up until just maybe last night, I've never thought that I could actually make a difference for the better, for this world, for any human, in any possible way, because I would never be able to have the power to do so. Well, I was trained too to think that way. So I admittedly have been brainwashed and have experienced mind control. I was one of the kids who was absolutely devastated when I finally learned that Santa Claus wasn't real. I also believed in the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny. A lot of you probably remember being told that, likely after learning about the Holocaust, that we need to learn history. It's so important that we understand it because we don't want to repeat it. We don't want to repeat the same mistakes that we've made in the past. And you're left with that thought. You're left to think, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You are not immediately taught that, oh, by the way, we as a species under the system that we're currently governed by will not have the ability to learn from our mistakes. We will be mentally deficient. We will be complete nincompoops. We will be incompetent. We won't even have enough mental fortitude to realize that the atrocities of history have never stopped. It's always been continuous. There's always wars going on every day. There's even worse going on every day. The conversations that really need to be happening are not, at least not in the correct forums, not in the correct way, and certainly not to enough people. For instance, just the pedo disorder that we are surrounded by. Have you ever looked up? A lot of people have. Have you ever looked up the registered offenders in your area? If you haven't, please do. You will be shocked. And those are just the individuals who have been released and actually registered. Okay, it's going to leave out a lot of offenders, especially those who successfully continue to abuse, haven't been caught yet. I'm purposely not trying to make a whole lot of sense with a lot of things because I have very good reason to, but I do want to share a little bit about maybe some of my experiences in my life, and if I do mention anything about my experiences that seem arrogant, I'm not trying to come across as arrogant. I'm not bragging. I'm simply giving you a real life experience that has led me to go down certain pathways that have eventually ended up in having let's call it a condition that is extremely painful, that I can't ignore, and that emotionally kills me every day because I see all of the things that are so obvious to me that other people should be seeing and caring about that seemingly don't, they can't. Now, let's just go down that path. I'm going to say you've heard scientists, some of the people that we've taught, that we've been told are some of the greatest minds, that there's a scientific way of thinking, that there are scientific laws. These are just more lies, and quite frankly, so many scientists have believed so many things that they just can't question the fact that they're not smart, that they don't know, that they can't possibly claim to have established scientific laws. The conditions are ever changing. F you scientists, especially you arrogant ones. I would love to debate any of you. Tyson, bring it on. I would love to answer or react to some of the things that you say. Okay, the religion is a horrible suppressor of intellectual knowledge. If you truly believe in a modern day religion, you're just another mindless sheep. It's a way to suppress knowledge. It's a way to get you to follow another power dynamic. And, if you're not let's say, I'm going to call out Christians. If you are a good little Christian, you're going to go to heaven. If you're not, well, you're still going to go to heaven as long as you accept Jesus Christ as your Savior and you believe a few things. Let me tell you about an experience I had the other day, and I'm sorry I don't intend this video to be long at all. I just have to get some things out there. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I implore you to keep listening, especially if you're offended, because you're going to get more offended, I hope. And I have some very special shout outs to do at some point during this video. But I saw a comment the other day on a YouTube video that there were a lot of let's just call them Bible thumpers, mindless sheep who say, well, if you believe in Jesus, you're going to be saved. And this one, I reacted to one of the comments that I read because this individual said something like, if you are saved, then you know that simply by believing that Jesus died for all of our sins, past, present, and future, you're gonna be great and dandy no matter what. You're gonna go to heaven, past, present, and future sins. So you're telling me that I can just I can be one of the most horrible, horrific. I could be Hitler, and as long as I believe that Jesus died for my sins, I'm going to heaven. And I'm going to offend you guys who are Christians who believe this. You are stupid. Okay? You don't have the ability to think for yourself. You don't have the foresight to foresee all of the potential consequences of just believing, of having a certain faith. You have been, and I'm going to tell you that all you stupid Americans out there, and I'm just saying stupid Americans because I'm focusing on this country, it's most of you, the vast majority of you, it's not your fault at all. I'm not saying you are responsible for being an idiot or a moron. You are a victim of the United States government. You've been put through not only the worst educational system on this planet, but even if it was actually educational at all, but you've been put through a system that is specifically designed to make you a slave, and you're complicit with it because you don't know any better, because of what you've experienced thus far at any time of your life. I'm not going to say that I haven't been a sheep, that I'm still not a sheep in ways, that I haven't made mistakes. I've made so many ridiculous mistakes, and I've learned a lot from those mistakes. Sometimes I've had to make the same mistake several times. Sometimes I have definitely lied in the past, but the best learning opportunity, not only for the person who is in the position to lie for seemingly their benefit, but it doesn't facilitate a discussion or a thought process or evaluation that needs to take place in order for us to continuously improve. Not only improve ourselves as individuals, but to improve upon systems that are just bending you over the Okay, now for some of you, it is completely your fault. There are a lot of people who know exactly what they're doing. Their intent is to make as much money as possible, no matter what. Their intent is to deceive you so much as to make that possible, no matter what this individual who values money the most is going to blatantly do or be called out on. Thanks to the people in power who have given every single judge or judicial officer in this country impenetrable immunity. That's immunity from anything from being paid to get somebody off of a charge or maliciously sending somebody to uh, the electric chair, knowing that they're innocent, but because they might be racist or they might just want to have that power over people because it gives them a high. Think about that. Every single judge in this country, every judicial officer has absolute immunity. And you know what? I think I've got a quote pulled up that I'd like to reference regarding this. Um, by the way, some of the stuff that I tried to look up to reference or to share with you guys is obviously suppressed information. Um, let's see. Okay, let's see here. Let's start with this. Even an independent judiciary can be silenced if judges fear being sued, prosecuted, or subjected to disciplinary proceedings for merely acting within their judicial functions. Okay? Where judges fear negative consequences for delivering unfavorable decisions, they are, in the end, not independent. Where judges are not independent, the door is open for arbitrariness and tyranny. Therefore, judicial immunity should be recognized as a principle of the rule of law. And that would be after telling you that judges and judicial officers are immune from their decisions and the act of their line of work, even if their rulings are based on completely criminal ways of thinking. And that's to I mean, how can most people believe that? How can anybody believe that? How are they so arrogant to tell you that, oh, that's a good thing? Yeah, it's a good thing for them, for the system, for the government to grant absolute immunity because that ensures that corruption can always control. Everything about this country is built on corruption. We are nonstop surrounded by corruption. Please don't believe anything you hear. Let's go back to instinct. If I even started talking about that at any point. Okay, I'm so freaking offended and horrified by pretty much everybody who says that humans are the smartest creatures on this planet. The scientists that so arrogantly and confidently say humans are the only known species on this planet to have the intellectual capability to communicate with each other effectively, and blah, 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 blah. That right there is enough reason to say that we're obviously one of the stupidest entities that rely on this planet for life support. They will play off how animals know how to do certain things as just instinct. Okay? I mean, these are people that are supposed to be smart enough to explain things like instinct, like junk DNA. Okay, instinctual knowledge is no joke. It is the best educational system that is naturally in place, that has been severely suppressed in the human brain or consciousness. Um, and of course, for good reason, for those who want to keep making money off of sheeple. Okay, let me tell you a little bit of my experience with intellectual knowledge. I'm sorry, with instinctual knowledge. It's 5:29 a.m. I've only gotten about 9 hours of sleep over the past 5 days, which isn't untypical due to the pain levels I experience constantly. Okay, instinct, animal instinct. That's their explanation. Stupid idiots. Yeah, instinct is real for everything, but you can't just say, oh, it's instinct or a reaction to stimuli. It's every single life form on this planet has the ability to learn everything they need to learn simply based on tapping in to an energy that's available to us all that is so blatantly just referred to as instinct. I perhaps have been placed in a better position to understand how to tap into instinctual knowledge, education. And I'm not trying to say that to brag, certainly not. I'm telling you that because I don't have a high school diploma, certainly not a college degree. I have shunned the U.S. Department of Education for the vast majority of my time under their mind control programs. Okay, especially after I learned that it's so important to learn about the history, that we don't want to repeat mistakes. I looked around and saw some of the smartest classmates I knew just things clicking in their heads, thinking, yeah, God, that makes so much sense. You know what? It's so important that I pay as much attention to all of the valuable lessons I'm going to learn while attending school. I better do my best. And in fact, I'm going to do so well that I will get paid to go to a certain higher educational institution so that I can become a slave to the government in the best possible way. Now, I'm not saying that's the case for every individual who goes through, gets grants, and who goes through the entire education system in America, public education specifically. But I hope to, I'm really hoping to just incite either enough interest or hatred that this content is shared before it's deleted, because it, like I like I said, the worst weapon that is used against you in its everyday is language. Well, the absolute most destructive weapon for the corrupt, craziness, insanity, evil, let's just say the government of the United States of America, is actual knowledge, is truth, is influencing enough people to break away from the concept that it's okay to pay teachers who teach young children some of the lowest wages in this country. That is, it's absolutely disgusting. So I've been able to tap into this phenomenon of instinctual intelligence. I'm not arrogant enough to think that I'm the first to conclude that it is a natural occurring thing that we have the ability to utilize. Um, I don't specifically know of other people who are advocating for this type of knowledge, but um, it's by far the most valuable source of knowledge. Because think about it: if animals are written off as being so successful based on this undefinable instinct, you know what? Humans are capable of being much more successful if we based all of our knowledge on our ability to tap into instinctual knowledge. It's not instinct at all, it's the knowledge that surrounds us in different forms of energy on the daily. Their frequencies are magical. That's music has the ability to touch someone's heart like few things can. It has the ability to make you think. That's why certain music is suppressed, just like a lot of other things in this country. Um, I gotta cut to some of the shout outs, and I just hope that you freaking idiots give enough pause to contemplate what the consequences are for voting for any of the candidates that are currently running, or for just any individual. It's imperative that we get the only right person in office that can actually be a catalyst for change that can very quickly solve so many problems. We don't have much time. Okay, and a lot of bad things are going to happen between now and the time that we're allowed to vote to replace the President of the United States. We have been taught that it's so important to pay a lot of attention to certain things. It's all a distraction. We're talking about the economy, the debt, the bills that are being passed. We are taught, we're told so much BS by everybody every day. Freaking idiots that caused a ruckus on January 6th that opened you up to prosecution from the government. Okay, I really respect the intent behind that and just the action that you took, but I can't respect what ultimately devolved into an ever stupefying situation. Okay, you guys are stupid. Anybody who supports Trump is stupid. Anybody who supports Biden is stupid. Anybody who's listening to this right now, chances are you're incredibly stupid. But it's not your fault. Here's a bit about instinctual intelligence that I've experienced. Okay, I've taught myself how to play several musical instruments, very well, and I've developed a way of teaching it to children in a way that not only allows them to teach themselves how to play other instruments and truly understand how certain things work in music and on particular instruments, and how to compare other instruments to the instrument that they're currently studying. And most importantly, what's behind all this is giving them the ability to teach themselves. That's really the most important thing behind all of the music lessons that I've taught. Unfortunately, I currently can no longer teach because of my situation, um, but that's the intent. I don't come out and tell that to them. I don't want to distract them from the natural process of this way of learning so that they can teach themselves so much more than just how to play another instrument. Okay, there are reasons for everything. There Let me start with one important shout out. Elon Musk. F you. You ignorant, selfish, egotistical, arrogant bastard who certainly is not doing anything good for anybody. You have a constant popularity contest going on inside your head. You're worried about your looks in the physical sense and how people view you in their mind. And you know what? It's pretty easy for you to get a lot of attention by people who think they really like you and think that you're really a good guy. You're really doing the world a favor. Um, all of you people who support him in any way are so stupid. I can't tell you how stupid you are. I can't. I will in a future video if you keep paying attention. But Elon Musk, you deserve to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of every single possible law. And you know what? Of course, obviously, the legal systems are a joke in so many ways in so many countries. So I'm not talking about allowing a judge who has absolute immunity to decide your fate. I'm talking about another form of prosecution and persecution that you absolutely deserve. What on earth makes you think that you are a lead engineer at SpaceX? What? I mean, how ridiculously pompous you are. You lie through your teeth. All you care about is money. That's your sole motivation. And what do you get to do with all of your money? You get to make toys that you want to build, write them off as tax credits so you don't have to pay taxes from, I mean, you so destructive. You are the number one reason why so many kids in the Congo are dying or being maimed or being physically affected for the rest of their lives by mining the cobalt that goes into your ridiculously large and completely useless lithium ion batteries that go in every single electric vehicle. Shame on you, you freaking evil, worthless. Come for me, buddy. I'd love that. Take me on. Try bullying me. Try to sue me. Do whatever you can. I Maybe just for hurting your feelings, not even telling the truth because most people aren't going to believe it. Okay, lithium ion batteries are one of the most disgusting things that are in, they're in everything. Um, they're so dangerous. They're so toxic. They're so horrible for so many reasons, and they are absolutely 100% completely unnecessary. But you know what? Somebody's making a lot of money off of them, and they're paying enough money to the right people to also not care to look into anything because they also care about money so much. And the rich senators, congressmen of this country, how are they all millionaires? Well, everybody should have known this for a long time. They have corrupt companies paying them so much money to pass bills in favor of that company making as much money as possible so that they can keep paying you to further their advances. It's an absolute joke. Every single one of you people in this government needs to be removed. It's absolutely necessary. Um, so a big FU to Elon. The people who deify like the Kardashians, there might not be any hope for you. Mike Sievert, CEO of T-Mobile, a huge FU to you, buddy. Frickin' rich bastard. You sell portions of your stock on a very regular basis for millions of dollars. You have millions already. You're so pompous and arrogant that you say, "Oh, T-Mobile has the best company ever, or has the best customer service ever," and all you sheep who suck up to him, the employees who say, "Yeah, I'm never gonna stop. Best customer service ever." You're so full of it. I mean, you ridiculous idiot. Mike Seaver, you are directly responsible for killing kids in the Congo. And then you have the audacity to think that, I believe it was an advertisement a couple years ago during one of the Super Bowls. It was, let's say, a parody on um, true philanthropists of the past who have written songs and recorded them because music has a lot of power. These people should not be overlooked. Heal the World. There are so many great songs that have been put out in effort to help the world, help the children, help a lot of things. And you have the audacity to blatantly, while actively killing kids in the Congo, you have the audacity to deify your phones and your freaking telecommunication service by having several people, including Dolly Parton and what's her name, stupid little arrogant. You guys know who I'm talking about, that Cyrus moron. Sing the song about let's do it for the phones. They do so much for you. I mean, how much must that ad campaign have cost? I can't even imagine how expensive that was to create and then to put in a long time slot during a Super Bowl event. And all your stupid little supporters were like, "Love it, brilliant, oh, that's the best." No, it should be absolutely offending and unacceptable to every single individual on this planet. It is absolutely disgusting, but you know what? I'm not surprised. Humans are absolutely disgusting. You are absolutely disgusting. And you know what? Maybe not through your own fault. You are contributing to the death of kids in Congo by mining cobalt. And I'm just coming back to that time and time again because I don't want to say too much about too many things that are going to get me, let's say, put me in an opportunity where I can't better explain certain things that I think are absolutely necessary to explain. Um, I have very good reason for doing so. Okay. So F you, Mike Sievert, F you, Elon Musk, F you, so many people, but especially F you, every single individual in the United States of America's government. F you, CIA, F you, FBI, F you, everybody. F you to the medical science of the Western world. F you. Everything should really be looked at as an art form, not a science. It's so arrogant of us to call things scientific. I suffer so much health problems. I've definitely come close to death just living in my current situation at times, and have completely refused medical intervention because I am completely devoted to saving a female veiled chameleon that I bought from Petco because she was suffering from necrotic tissue, a punctured right eye turret. She had a respiratory infection, and she was at the age where her body was naturally going to, even though she's stunted in growth, her body was going to trigger itself to develop eggs and lay them. They're one of the species of chameleons that can and do lay multiple clutches of infertile eggs that depletes their calcium like crazy. It's definitely not a science because so many people who are following the science of how to take care of a chameleon and how to treat a chameleon, they end up killing their chameleon. F you to science. Uh, let's talk about the green energy movement. What a freaking joke. Don't believe for a second that solar power and wind power are good for the environment. Hey, if this happens to get around to enough people that somebody who knows me watches this, I don't mean to intrude on the money you make by being a part of the solar industry in some fashion. It's certainly not your fault. Um, and not every solar system actually has battery storage. Guess what kind of battery? A lot of things will say lithium battery. Don't confuse that for a safer battery. It's either a lithium ion battery or another type of lithium metal battery. Either way, all lithium needs to be mined, and it's a very destructive process, very dangerous. It's horrible for the environment, and the green energy movement is definitely one of the biggest contributors now to the death of this planet, the death of the people on this planet, especially directly the death of all the kids who are forced into slavery to mine your precious metals. And, they're obviously these kids aren't paid for their work. You source this product extremely, super cheap, and somehow you get away with selling a lithium ion battery for a smaller solar powered system that can store its energy for like a couple $1,000, and the electric vehicle batteries that are even worse, and they're now the number one cause. They're the biggest users of lithium ion batteries. your battery probably costs $7,000. Again, money has no real value. You're stupid for thinking that money is the most valuable thing, or that you should take so much stock in trying to make as much money as possible. Uh, if you're still with me, thank you. This is turning into a very long video. But I think it's important that people hear just the few things that I'm touching on in this video. And if you continue to pay attention, thank you so much. Whether it's out of disgust and hatred for what I'm saying, or because you're truly interested in what I'm saying. Imagine these gigantic wind farms who use ridiculous battery systems, these lithium ion monsters that I've talked about so much. I mean, who could possibly ever just naturally come to the conclusion, because they're told it's a green energy source, it's a renewable energy source, it's good for the environment, it's going to be the way of the future. F you guys. Oh my god, that's so freaking ridiculous. It's just disgusting. There is free energy all around us. Absolutely. And I know all these things through my ability to tap into instinctual knowledge that all of us can tap into. I composed the majority of the songs I've written while in jail without a pencil or paper, just by using my brain. I remembered all of these songs without being able to record anything about them onto paper to take with me out of jail. And some of what I think are the best ones are incredibly long, complicated pieces of music that the average listener just wouldn't be able to follow or really enjoy, because, I mean, let's face it, you're a freaking moron. I have so many shout outs to make, but I think I have to stop here. I really wish that I could debate the atrocious evil idiots who are in charge. Nobody should be in charge. Let's say that I was voted into office. I was voted as the next president of the United States of America. I certainly wouldn't be your president. I would just be a guy with the best of intentions to help you out in the best possible way I can. F these titles. I wouldn't have a running mate. I wouldn't have a vice president. No, I would have a team of highly competent individuals that are there in order to not only question my ideals constantly, because that's the best way for me to ensure that I am making the best decision possible. Anyways, yeah, let's just say I'm not asking you to vote me in as President of the United States of America. I'm not suggesting you necessarily should. I'm just saying we have precious little time to make the change that I can tell you absolutely needs to occur from the process of people voting for the next President of the United States of America. through T-Mobile. They charged me for 4 years for my mom's phone number after my mom died. And I was so against offending anybody that I would gladly retell the horror to every single customer service representative I spoke with. And over the 4 years, I spoke with a lot of them. And for some reason, they didn't have any notes about why I was seeking certain actions and compensations. I had to retell them and relive through the traumatic horror of, I'd have to explain that my mom was suddenly diagnosed after a very recent physical was done, blood work and everything. She all of a sudden had stage 4 liver cancer and had 6 months left to live. I won't go into details, but a big FU to T-Mobile, Mike Sievert, every CEO of every company in this country who makes so much money doing absolutely nothing. A huge FU to all you freaking corrupt, gigantic companies that spend ridiculous amounts of money to make even more ridiculous amounts of money. Your corruption sickens me. Apple, F you for playing along with all these other companies who are suddenly making advertisements about how much they care about the environment, how much they care about diversity. Don't be fooled, people. A lot of you actually like a recent ad by Apple who are saying, "Oh, Mother Nature, we're going to be plastic free by the end of next year." You know what? At first, you should have been plastic free a long, long time ago. We're not taught anything that we absolutely should be taught. We've been well aware of the forever toxicity, the man-made chemicals that are expelled into our environment, that are taken in by every human on this planet for a long time. And you know what that toxicity does? It travels down to your offspring. And these toxicities and chemicals build up from generation to generation until you certainly won't live long enough to receive any sort of retirement benefits. You will only live long enough to work as hard as possible for the government that's taxing you and using you as a resource. The Environmental Protection Agency, what a freaking joke, you pieces of shite are giving, after so many years of certain chemicals having been identified as incredibly deadly, you give these companies 25 years to slowly phase them out over time. Well, they're not being phased out at all. Not at all. What a freaking joke. There needs to be so much change in order for your kids to live a better life than what waits for them, if it actually waits for them based on all of the events that are taking place around the world. I'm not so sure that we even have the time to elect an actual responsible person who cares enough to die for the cause that they believe in with all of their heart, who will actually make the tough changes that we need to make. And you know what? Thanks to intellectual instinct and instinctual intellect, I know what needs to be done. The hot sauce helps with my daily congestion due to all of the dust that flows my way, away from my precious critters who have an air filter because the air in here is so bad. I really wanted to talk about Nikola Tesla because he is such an important factor. Um, but I gotta end this. I gotta end this. You know, I'd tell you who the only person who I would potentially vote for in the upcoming election. I would vote for the broke homeless guy who has never been married, who currently isn't married, who doesn't have a significant other, who doesn't have human children, who's not only not afraid to die, but hopes that this person hopes that they can die in the pursuit of justice, real change. And true knowledge is so powerful, it's worth killing for. And I'm not talking about any sort of vigilante justice. I'm talking about the US government assassinating the people who had the best chance of making a change for the good. Because I have the gift of foresight and the ability to contemplate enough possibilities, inevitable consequences from certain actions, I'm pretty confident I could survive long enough to make such changes early on in my role as not as a leader, not as a president, not as a politician, but as a human being with an actual set of values who is capable of doing what's right, who is not capable of being bullied into any sort of action, who's not capable of being paid off in any way for any favor, for not having a wife and kids who I care so much about that when they're threatened, I'd have to do something. I'd have to do what you want. I am not afraid of you. If you listen long enough to me, you will be afraid of me. Guarantee you. Now, to all the good people out you, even if you're a freaking moron, send this around. Please share this. Please comment. Please save it. Please post it on other platforms. I don't want credit for anything. I'm not even going to say these are my ideas and this is I'm so smart. No, I just simply am an individual who got lucky enough due to certain circumstances that I've been able to tap into a source of instinctual knowledge and to see obvious horrors out of the incredible lies that are being told in every way on a daily basis. I would probably vote for the homeless guy who shares a disgusting sleeping space with incredible critters like baby crickets and bookworms, who allows them to suckle upon the salts caked on my skin from constant sweat between very few showers. Because I'm no better than them. What gives me the right to think that I have the right to be disgusted by them? That I have the right to kill them? No. Please follow me. Don't even follow me. Follow whatever channel you're seeing this on. I think at least some of the what since I really don't even remember exactly what I said because of my pain and other circumstances, I hope that something I've said either incites enough rage, offense, entertainment, whatever your reasons are for engaging with this. Please, beg of you, for the sake of your children, for your neighbor's children, for the future of humanity, for the future of all life on this planet. Just saying, I would vote for the guy who suckles hot sauce packets for hydration and nutrient intake. If there is such an individual. Thank you. And F you.